Today we will again look at a slightly complex model of the human body I made that we used some weeks back. In the Alexanderte크닉 system, you need to understand the movements you're trying to make during an adjustment. We use models to understand the geometry or physics of certain movements and improve our mental model of the adjustment. We'll be looking at the adjustment to rotate the upper torso forward and up. The forward part I think is pretty clear. If you look at the average person, you will see their upper sternum is behind their lower sternum. If we want the sternum to be vertical, so the rib cage is upright, we'll have to move the upper sternum forward. We saw last time that we want to move the lower sternum and lower ribs back and up. But it's also clear that if we only do those movements and do not rotate the upper torso forward and up, we will have way too much weight backwards. When people have their upper torso leaned back like this, they will always have their lower sternum and lower ribs forward. These two movements are compensatory. As we correct one, we need to correct the other. That is the only way to maintain equilibrium. That's an important thing to remember. In improving your posture, you are changing your equilibrium, which means you necessarily will have to make movements that feel like they put you out of balance. You will have to challenge what you think of as balanced, which means going into the unknown. But there you will learn that sometimes, though you feel like you're going to fall over, you're actually standing straighter than you ever have. To really do this though, you will have to adjust the different parts of the torso at once. So let's look at the adjustment with our model. We're looking at a person from the side. We have the lower and mid-torso in red, and the upper torso in black. The lower sternum would be right around here, and the lower ribs here. When we bring our model into the common habitual posture that you'll see in most people, we see that the sternum is angled back, while the lower sternum and lower ribs are forward. The back is hollow, the abdomen is protruding. If we apply our first direction of back and up to the mid and lower torso, at the same time that we move the upper torso forward and up, we can straighten the back and the front, and raise the entire structure up. If we think about the ribs at the back of the armpit during this adjustment, we see that they move back and up. If we do not allow that movement, if we instead push the ribs at the back of the armpit forward or down, we will prevent the rotation of the rib cage that we're looking for and hinder the adjustment. We can also see that this adjustment moves the entire torso back behind the legs. With all that weight back, we need some weight to go forward. But when you rotate the rib cage in the way that we want, you can stop retracting your head, and instead allow your head to go forward and up with the upper torso. If we are also able to stop retracting our arms and allow them to go forward, we will find ourselves in a new equilibrium. Another important thing to understand about this adjustment is that we are pivoting forward and up around the lower sternum. It's very easy for us to go forward and down with our upper torso when we really want to go forward and up. By placing the center of rotation at the front of the rib cage in our mental model, we can make sure we go up and not down when we rotate the upper torso forward. We can see this problem by adjusting our model slightly and placing the center of rotation at the back. Here we can see that a forward rotation causes the upper torso to go forward and down. That's not what we want, so we have to make sure that in our mental model, we are placing the center of rotation at the front of the rib cage. Then we can rotate the rib cage forward and up. This is why our mental model has to be precise. If we are orchestrating this rotation of the upper torso, thinking of the center of rotation as being at the back, we will produce a different movement than if we think of the center of rotation as being at the front. Your mental model matters, and the accuracy of your model will either help or hinder your adjustment. This model also makes it clear that we are going to have to profoundly stretch our back with these adjustments. We will be pulling up the ribs at the back of the armpit, and we will be rotating down the back of the pelvis, and so the back will be pulled in two directions. This is exactly what we want. We want to lengthen the thoracolumbar fascia that is here at our back into its full length. That way we can rely on its elastic resistance instead of having to rely only on the strength of our muscles. Remember, fascia doesn't get tired. It's quite different from muscle in that way. It's not strained by being lengthened. It actually needs to be lengthened to function properly. See if this model, which has broken the body into specific chunks, helps you understand the movements you want to apply to your body during an adjustment to your torso.